Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the programming interns of 2019.
Tell us about your experience as an intern. Noah, we'll start with you.
I get to build things and hear about people actually using them, and I think that's a really cool experience.
Awesome.
My name is Noah, and I'm currently the lead programmer at AllProWebTools. I've been here for almost 2 years. I started my junior year of college.
My degree is I'm studying computer science and concentration in cybersecurity. I don't know exactly what kind of position I want to be in yet.
What are you looking for as far as an internship? What would make you feel like it was a good fit for you?
Definitely somewhere that challenges me, because like I said, I don't feel challenged in my web development course. And then I would really like just to be able to, to work with a group of other people to get experience doing that, because all the assignments that I've done so far have just been solo projects. I feel like it would be good to gain experience working with other people in a group.
When I first started with AllProWebTools as an intern over 2 years ago, I never thought I'd be leading a team like I am today.
That's fine. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, come 2 to 6.
Each of these headers, make them green. Wait back and make sure you got it.
Okay. All right, Jordan, what you got, man?
Doesn't that help?
Yeah.
That's what I told Mitchell is that he had inverted colors. So I was like, all right, turn this way, look at the wall, because you've been staring at the invoice, looking at the numbers, and then look back, and he's like, oh, they're different. I was like, yeah, you just gotta look away sometimes and look back. So if we see the validation function, and then we get if it's success or if it's failure, which one do we look at?
Success.
Right.
I assumed when I was building this before, you cannot pay the invoice before you sign the contract.
Okay.
But if it's just writing it down that helps you, I'm gonna have you write the steps down in your notes. This is telling me that's the only place it is in this file. How to add to a string. Look how they do it right up there. All of that stuff is 90% of what I do. And then when we need to add a new feature or something, I just go in the PHP and I add HTML, I add CSS, I add JavaScript. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the PHP part is an if statement and a loop and pulling stuff from the database. That stuff is that's not the hard part. It's all that other stuff is the foundation. One buyer to have buyers under them, or for some reason you might want to pass in a variable here. No, wrong answer.
The place where we have to use 5.3, 5.4, whatever. 5.3, and what is this in? What is the 5.4? So what's the problem?
They're not going to be able to type in whatever they want and it hits the database, right?
Yeah.
But it was on the checkout process.
Okay. Can you show me that when we get back? Sure. Okay. Through
my experience at AllProWebTools, it's been awesome because I've had the opportunity to work in the industry. Since I've been here, I've worked on 3 or 4 big release versions of new software features and stuff. So it was really cool to then get to talk to customers who use that every day, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love this feature!" And I'm like, "I built that feature." And they're like, "Thank you."
That's me.
Yeah, that's me. It's cool though to see how you're actually helping small business owners with the stuff that you're working on every day. Anyone who's looking to gain experience should definitely look to get an internship. It was a huge difference for me being in school and having an internship, and that's really prepared me for my future career.
You're able to very well articulate yourself. You're able to answer my questions very concisely and directly, which is very important for a programmer. So I'm seeing a lot of positives for you. And I think this would probably be a good experience for you to see what programming is like in a business environment, because it is much different than a school environment or when you're just poking around at code at home at night when you have all the time in the world.
Right.
Because in a business environment, time is everything. So you typically are going to have an assignment, and there's a deadline to get it done. And there are a lot of shortcuts that we teach you on how to program that will save you a ton of time, and they're not exactly orthodox. They're not exactly anything you're going to be taught in any kind of school curriculum, but they get the job done, and that's how it works in the real world.
It's an awesome field, and it's really important to learn as much as you can, especially if you're in school. The school projects are not enough to get you up to par with being able to work in the industry for a company. I've never had anything this complicated with this many permutations, so actually having to write it out makes a big difference, because all the other problems that I've had in school would be things that, it's a program, but I can do it all in my head and then just code it. And I've never had to step back and think logically. There's so many different pieces that work together. To send the request, a red cancel button to cancel a request that you've sent, and then accept or decline could be a green check mark or a red X icon from
So your headers also need some classes. Class
that
table
makes
sorter
sense.
header.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Table sorter header.
So tell us, now that we've gotten to see these new features that you have created, tell us a little bit about what kind of your main project was.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things I had the opportunity to work on was the partner program. So Dave told me about the feature that we needed to build, and he said, all right, you're going to be building it.
Anybody that's currently looking for an internship should seriously consider AllProWebTools. It's also great that it's a paid internship, so you get paid to learn. And I was required to have an internship in order to graduate college, and I'm very glad I did because I learned so much more here working the last 2 years than I have while I was in college.
What we found is that it's really hard for a college graduate with a programming degree to get right into a paid job because typically they're going to tell you you need to have experience, but you can't get hired to get experience, so you can't go anywhere. It doesn't make it doesn't work.
But beyond just typing in like any possible scenario, we also need to think of outside that scope in every possible way the chat box can be used.
Some of the fun parts about working on AllProWebTools are our launch parties, which happen every single year, and we get to meet the small business owners who actually use our software every day. Another awesome thing is Taco Tuesday, where we get to hang out with our coworkers on Tuesdays and eat tacos. And when the power goes out, the office turns into a laser tag arena. So I was really nervous starting out. It was my first job in the industry, and I was balancing another job and school, which AllProWebTools worked around my schedule with. So that was really cool. I had the opportunity to work here. I was nervous just learning about programming in general because, like I said, I hadn't had much experience before. So having the opportunity to code and work in a production environment where real companies, real small business owners are going to use my code and the features that I write, it was pretty nerve-wracking in the beginning, but it turned out to be a lot of fun.
We're used to working around crazy college schedules. We get it. We understand.
Okay.
We're really interested in people that have fresh ideas and a drive and ambition to become something greater than what they are now. Some people that appreciate a challenge because you will be challenged. Your entire perceptions on everything is going to be challenged.
Man, everything is about timelines and deadlines and priorities, and we have real companies and real small business owners that are waiting to use certain features that I'm working on. So I don't have all the time in the world to work on these. They have to be done. They have to be done correct.
And you come away from your internship with a referral letter and something to put on your resume and an actual product that's been sold and demonstrated to real users that you wrote. And that's awesome. That's quite a feather in your cap to say, look, see that software? I wrote that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, we do run the whole gamut. So we do front side and back side. So if you want to learn PHP and do some hardcore JavaScript kind of stuff, we got that. If you want to do CSS and HTML and Bootstrap, we got that too. When would you be available to start?
Next week.
All right, Noah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate meeting you, and we will definitely be in touch.
Okay, thank you for your time. It was nice meeting you.
My first few weeks at AllProWebTools were spent learning the basics of programming in an industry for a real company. All my experience before was coding for school projects, so the experience was totally different. I learned how to code quicker with time constraints, and it was a really cool experience to learn how to work with a team of other programmers in accomplishing the goal.
I'm getting a post paper. I don't know what you're talking about. So I go home, I wrote a bunch of notes down, I brought it back the next day, and I explained it. And Dave knew. He's like, yeah, you still don't understand this. He goes, yeah, go home tonight, look it up again, and come back tomorrow and read it to me again. So I did, and I'm like, okay, I get it a little bit better this time, but I still am like, I read it, and I can read it and understand what I read, but it doesn't help you unless now I can see how it works in the code, and I'm like, oh, now it comes together. I'm like, I see why I need the knowledge of it before I code it.
Yeah.
But it helps bring it all together. Once you have the knowledge and then code it actually, then that's when you fully understand.
Yeah. Is your fix a hack, or did
No.
you find the actual problem?
I found the problem. It was a difference between 464 and 463. In 463, it was implemented.
Talking in this language that you don't hear
Yeah.
typically at your dinner table with your family.
Right.
You just kind of soak that up. And the more you work with code like this.
Exactly. Yep, so they got a 1 in the renew column. When that month hits, when it goes to charge them, it's going to charge them again for that web tool because we want to renew that one.
When I first started with AllProWebTools, it's a small team, but I thought it was really cool to be able to communicate constantly with a team and get help from somebody who has more experience than you in certain aspects. So we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and I was able to rely on some of the other programmers who were better at JavaScript and they were able to rely on me in the beginning. I was better at CSS. So we were able to work with each other and really help advance the goals that we were trying to accomplish quicker, because we all had different skill sets and we learned how to rely on each other.
I'll let you talk about yourself first.
Okay, all right. Well, Ben likes you to believe that he did most of the app, but he did all of the front end of the app, and I worked on the back end, so all of the timeline information that you see and the functionality for being able to clock in and clock out. There's a lot of work that has to be done behind the scenes of what you can see on the app, and I was in charge of doing most of that.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that.
Yeah, it's just
Well, it looks great what Ben did, but it wouldn't work if we didn't do the work on the back end on the API.
That's true.
So I initially started going to school for computer science with a concentration in cybersecurity, and I started taking a few entry-level programming classes, and I was like, man, this is really cool, because I'm not very creative as in being able to draw and stuff, but I can create things with programs, and the possibilities are endless. I can make apps or websites and make them do almost whatever I want.
I would write down how the pending partner request happens, and also if you know how it's going to be like implemented.
So I had zero programming experience before college. I went into it thinking my degree would be cool because cybersecurity sounded like a cool field to go into. So I learned everything I know at college and at AllProWebTools.
Once the more you hear and the more you're like focused on it, it just gets you faster and faster how you pick everything up with not only like our code base, but just knowledge of learning like PHP, learning databases, like just everything you'll need to know. You just pick it up faster and faster.
So I had the opportunity to learn a bunch of different programming languages when I started working at AllProWebTools. In school, there were about 3 languages that they teach, and they teach the fundamentals, and you don't really get to dive in anymore. So working at AllProWebTools, I've had the opportunity to work with dozens of different technologies, learn multiple programming languages, and really grow as a developer. I learned PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, socket work with node.js, SQL databases, creating databases, updating them, all the fundamentals that a lot of stuff that isn't taught in school with how to connect the back-end side, like server-side code, like PHP, to a front end, and how to pull in dynamic data from a database. So much that I haven't had the opportunity to learn in school.
You know what, that makes sense.
That's
It's actually
true.
called the API though.
A live account.
It doesn't have a phone doc.
That we just
so
said.
it worked, but it worked.
My last 2 years working at AllProWebTools have been amazing. I've had awesome opportunities to work with a great team and learn a lot. I'm sad to say that this is currently my last week with AllProWebTools, as I've been given my dream job offer in cybersecurity, and I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I've had at AllProWebTools. I feel like I've been launched straight into my future career.